Hey, good morning, Carl. That's absolutely right. I'm here with the co-founder and CEO of Palantir, Dr. Alex Karp. Alex, thank you so much for being here with us.
I'm delighted to be here.
All right, so you're kicking off this inaugural summit today. You have a lot of U.S. leaders here in government and defense and other areas of the government. Right now today, with so much focus on AI and the potential of AI, what is Palantir's focus when it comes to its work with the U.S. government?
Well, there are two things we're working on. One is Palantir related, but arguably even more importantly, the U.S. Has every major provider of AI, which is in every other industrial revolution, you've had a just diversity of countries that have had the talent and the products. In this revolution, they're really all in America. So how do we get the U.S. government to use innovation from providers? Very few of these providers work closely or closely enough with the U.S. government. Now, in part, that's because many of these providers have had a somewhat timid view of helping the U.S. government. The Silicon Valley motto has been, I get rich, you get nothing. And they've obviously often extended that to the U.S. government. So my focus and our focus in D.C. is one, to basically embarrass other people in AI to work with the U.S. government. It's like, we're doing very well here, you should also get involved. To talk to legislators, to explain to them that way too few of our dollars are being spent on AI. Palantir is one of, I think, the first company since the 50s that has produced government products that are in high demand commercially. So how do we get more companies that have commercially available products, meaning products that are proven in a competitive environment, into the U.S. government? And how do we share knowledge? So that's the part that we're doing here. We have a lot of clients, many of which are sensitive, and they get to talk to each other here about what they're doing, what's worked, and what's not.
All right, we'll talk more about your clients in just a bit. I do want to ask you, just a few days ago, you were in Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's AI meeting. It was a closed-door meeting. The press and the public not in the room, not allowed in the room. A lot of big-name tech leaders were there. We're talking Bill Gates, Sundar Pichai, Mark Zuckerberg. What was said there? Can you give us your takeaway? The headlines were it was all about regulating AI and government regulation. And also, I want to ask you, do you think the public should have been allowed in the room?
Well, so the overarching discussion was, how do you advance artificial intelligence, meaning how do we allow especially commercial enterprises in America to adopt AI, develop AI, and provide it to the U.S. government and enterprise while simultaneously mitigating some of the obvious risks of AI. Namely, one, we don't know where the road is going, and what happens if generative AI becomes so powerful that, in fact, it's a risk to humankind. Okay, so that is a real issue, and there's a lot of consensus that we have to have some way of mitigating the risk. Then there are other discussions of, on the way there, how do you have artificial intelligence that has governance, guardrails, can prove that it's not discriminatory? And then there's the issue I'm passionate about is, given the risks, we also have to model as one of the greatest risks that our adversaries, namely Russia or China, develop tools that are vastly superior to ours and change the world order. I thought it was a very, very productive discussion. I guess it's an unpopular view that occasionally you have to begin discussions in private, but it is my view. And I'm sure at some point these discussions will be open and no legislation will happen. But in the end, we all have to come in there and say, this is what I really believe. It's already very hard to get people to show up and kind of go naked, but they're not going to go naked in public with public scrutiny. And there's a super heterogeneous group of people there, from union leaders to tech leaders. Among tech leaders, you have kind of more corporate-y people, then you have the freak show. So getting
You're referring to yourself, but self-deprecation.